Welcome to the Grit Behind the Grind podcast, where we dive deep into raw, unfiltered journey of entrepreneurship, fitness, mental health, and building businesses from the ground up. I'm Cierra Schmitt, co-founder of Grit and Grind Coffee, real estate developer, fitness enthusiast, dad, and husband.
And I'm Destiny Rowell, co-founder of Grit and Grind Coffee, creative, brand strategist, and above all, mom and wife, bringing you real talk on what it takes to thrive as a business owner, especially when you're doing it alongside your partner. Here, we don't just focus on the wins. We dig deep into the struggles, the sacrifices, and the daily grind that it takes to make it all possible. So tune in, subscribe, and get ready to uncover the grit behind the grind. Welcome back to the Grit Behind the Grind. Today, we're going to have a conversation about coffee, community, and creativity. I hope you brought a notebook and pen because I just feel like this conversation is going to have tons of knowledge nuggets you're going to want to write down and come back to. So without further ado, please help me welcome our guest, Cierra, also known as She Brews Coffee.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun. Literally being on a podcast is on my 2025 bingo card, my business bingo card. I love that that's a thing now, like a bingo card. So I'm super excited to be here. Also love the knowledge nuggets. That's the cutest thing I've ever heard. So I need to start using that. But yeah, I am Cierra. I own She Brews Coffee. Besides that, I wear a lot of other hats. So I'm mom to two school-age kids. I'm a military spouse whose husband is currently deployed. And I also work during the week. So kind of have a lot going on. But coffee is my love. I started that in July of 2021, and it's just got me to where I am today.
Wow. Gosh, yeah, you do have your hands full, but I feel like every entrepreneur, we're like, that's what we were born for. Like, give me we thrive in chaos. Like, come
Absolutely.
on with it. That's awesome. So your story was so inspiring. Like, I believe I found you on TikTok, and then I binged your entire TikTok and just dove into like your story because it's so cool, and we could deep dive into it a little bit more. But tell us the Cliff Note version, high level. How did Cierra get started? Why did she get started?
So it's kind of bizarre. I am a business major. I have my bachelor's in business and entrepreneurship, actually, and so I've always had like an entrepreneur like heart. I have never, however, worked in a coffee shop ever in my life. And so my husband's in the military, like I said, we moved from Hawaii to California. And when we were in Hawaii, there was actually like a little coffee shop there. And I was like, ooh, like, I think I want to do that. Like, that would be really cool. You know, just like the wheels started turning. And so when we moved to California, there was one coffee shop. You could probably guess what it was. And there was no drive-through option or anything. Honestly, we lived about an hour and 30 minutes from like the nearest like actual town. So what we had was what we had. And my thinking is like, I have young littles, like I need a coffee in the morning. Like I'm not getting my kids out of the car to like go in somewhere to get a coffee. And so I was like, you know what if I started like coffee out of my house? And that just became a whole thing because where we were at the time, that is a thing. Home-based businesses are a thing. Like there was like a cake girl and a taco girl and like all of these different businesses operating out of their home because we were on a military installation and it was allowed. So I was like, there's not a coffee one. I think it would be cool to do that. And I was like, I should probably like film this process. And I posted on TikTok and I woke up and was like what just happened? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing for one, but like I don't even know. It was just the most bizarre thing. And yeah, that's where it all started.
That is beautiful in itself. Like there's so many things that we could pick apart in that. And I'm so glad you're on here sharing that because there's so many times where I see in like the mobile coffee group where people are asking a lot of questions and they drop in the DMs. I'm like, okay, what part of the process are you in? Because they're already trying to get espresso machines. They're like, we're just thinking about it. And so they just overanalyze everything. We all wait for the perfect time, perfect amount of money saved in our bank, perfect whatever. And I'm like, the key to it is just freaking do it. Like we are all building the plane as we fly it. And I don't think there's enough content out there in the world to show that. We have a culture where people are like, oh my gosh, they had everything together. And the truth is like, none of us have it together at all. Tell them about like your opening day.
Okay, so opening
that one's
day
the
was
best.
Actually bizarre. I was so anxious because kind of backtrack a little bit. I funded my business with a $5,000 Amazon card. Like I did not have the money. I had all the ideas, but I was like, I don't have the money to like throw towards this right now. So I had purchased everything, I had unboxed everything, had everything set up, and I was just so ready to like do it. And it's a very supportive community, let me tell you. I set up my Square website and accidentally set it for 6 a.m. ordering time instead of 7 a.m. And so I wake up at, I think it was like 6:30 to like 5 text messages, like, here, 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 order for so and so here. And I'm like, what? I looked at myself, I was like, oh my gosh, I messed up. Like, I have to get up. I threw my hair in a bun. I looked like a hot mess, and I went downstairs and I made those coffees as fast as I possibly could and ran them out to the curb. And I was so embarrassed. But that was not how I pictured like my opening day like going ever. But it was what it was, and they were so supportive and so sweet, and they were like cars like all out in the front of my house, like waiting for coffees. And yeah, it was very stressful, but it was fun. Now looking back,
the universe was like, girl, you ready or not? Like,
yes.
Here it is. Yeah,
Yep.
We're gonna have to drop in that clip because it's too good not to share. It's just so relatable. Our first day too, I'm like, that's what I felt internally, and I just have a visual of your fire. But I was like, I felt that, sis. Like, I totally get it. And honestly, it's like anything else. Like, we'll bring in new baristas and it never fails. I'm like, all right, we'll train on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, slowest days. The day they come in, all of a sudden, the world is like, hey, everyone wants coffee today, and is not our slowest days. They're like, we're going crazy. I was like, it's just how it goes. We just throw you in the fire, and it shapes and molds you.
It does, absolutely. Like, if you're going to learn, you're just going to learn in this environment, or any environment, really. So,
and I can see how that. I can see how that characteristic rolls off you just because of the brief story that you told us. You know, your husband's in the military, he's deployed, you are a mom, and we learn how to pivot really quickly. We learn how to be problem solvers. And
absolutely.
I think that's a big thing that a lot of people, even younger, if you're thinking about getting started or even dipping your toes in coffee or any industry, like, start small, start figuring out little things that you could do to kind of build that resilience up, because it takes a lot of it, for sure. When you're looking back at when you first started, you think you said 2021, correct? What's some habits or like what kind of mindset you think helped you get past those limitations of like, okay, I don't have the perfect trailer, I don't have a shop with a drop through? Like, what kind of mindset were you in that was like, I'm just gonna do the dang thing?
It's really hard because I wanted it all. Like, I wanted like the biggest machine, and I wanted the trailer, and I was actually working with a small business counselor, and he was like, what does funding look like? And I was like, it's almost one of those things where like your eyes are like bigger than your stomach. You know what I mean? It's like you want all of stuff, but it's just not happening right now. And I hate that feeling as like an entrepreneur heart. Like, I just like want it all, want it all, want it all right now. But honestly, when I look back, I would have probably started even smaller than what I did. You have to build, you have to grow. Like, you can't have it all right off the bat, you know? And so like even starting with something so simple as just like drip coffee in a cold brew or iced coffee or whatever it may be, like, I feel like everyone in the page is like, again, like, I need this espresso machine. Like, what espresso? Like, you don't have to start with espresso. And I know it's so easy, like, for us to say because we've grown to where we are now, but it is so much easier to start small and to build up to that. And if you're still passionate about that at that point, then obviously like go for the bigger stuff. But I will say it's hard mentally to start small.
It takes a lot of self-discipline, really, because of course we want to go big or go home. And if you're an entrepreneur, that's just probably you by trait. Like, you want to serve at excellence. You want to do the best that you can possibly do. But it does take a special skill and mindset to kind of dial it back and say, let's prove concept, let's build a brand. And what I teach a lot of our owners is that everyone loves to be a part of a story. Like, there's no story to follow along an adventure with if you just pop up one day in a multi-million-dollar coffee shop. All you are is quick service at that point, like some of the other big box brands. But if you start small and serve your community and bring them along, and all of a sudden you upgrade to a trailer versus your house, and then all of a sudden you have 2 mobile trailers and you could serve 2 communities, and then you get a brick and mortar. Like, people love to follow that storyline. I mean, at the end of the day, they come to us to purchase coffee because of who we are. The coffee's all right. I mean, I would never put all my money on my espresso. I mean, we have amazing coffee, but
Yeah.
it's our customer service. It's who
Oh,
we
yeah.
are. It's who our customers feel related to when they hold up a grit and grind cup. It's a brand, and that's the most beautiful thing. And it's really hard to develop that when you just go guns a-blazing or start at the very end. We have a very similar story. We'll have to chat after this.
Okay.
Our viewers probably know our story. We started small, didn't know what the heck we were doing, funded everything. I'd never made or drank coffee before in my life before we started this. I know. So talk about imposter syndrome. Like, if you got it, girl, I got nothing on you.
That's so funny.
And so we just bootstrapped it and we grew pretty quick. But I think it boils down to just having a loyal customer base that is literally so part and intertwined into our story. Like, anytime we open another grit and grind in Texas, they feel like they've opened one, which is that's pretty special. And so I know that there's probably some unexpected lessons you've learned along the way. Give us that nugget of knowledge. What was something that you were like, whoa, I was not expecting this. Spill the coffee, spill the tea.
I don't know. There's probably a couple.
For
One
us,
was,
oh, you go. Yeah, I
yeah,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
say.
No, you go. Give me a minute to
Okay,
like think
I'll
of
let you
which one I
I'll
wanna
let you
share.
ponder on it. For us, it was a lot of course, we didn't realize that people would actually come. I mean, like you hope that people come, and then we had a goal and it blew it out the water. And then Eric had a real job. I had a real job, and we opened on a Monday. And then we look at each other. We were only open from 7 to 11, sold out of everything. And then we look at each other while we're cleaning. And I'm like, what are we going to do tomorrow? Like, are you going to work? Or I'm like, am I by myself? Because I can't do this by myself.
Yeah.
And so I think the most unexpected thing was like, it actually worked. Like, people actually came, and that was crazy.
Yeah. I think for me, it was kind of the same thing. I did not expect to grow as quickly as I did. So where I was kind of like, oh my gosh, is when I had to start hiring people, because I know my work ethic, and having to find someone or having to like duplicate yourself
Preach it.
is so hard. Like, you want them to want it just as bad as you do, and you want them to perform customer service wise and product wise exactly how you do. And so it's kind of coming up with a system that's like, I don't know how to explain it other than they just do things how you do and just want it as bad as you do. And following that, another hurdle was having to fire an employee. That is, oh,
I know. I'm such a people pleaser. I'm like a level 12
too.
people pleaser. And I'm like,
Me too.
You can go get my mail and fill my car up with gas. We'll keep you on payroll. Like, we'll find something for you.
Oh my gosh, yes. That I just like, it hurt my heart so bad. And so it's like, I finally found a group. I think I had 5 girls was the most I had at one point. I had like a driver and then like 3 helpers. And so, yeah, having to let one of them go literally hurt my heart so bad. But at that point, you have to think like, I worked so hard to like build this business. Like, if it's not meeting the standards of that, like, it's just not going to work. You know what I mean? And so that was very hard.
Yeah. Whenever we first started, we realized really quickly how you were trying to find a word for it, but we call it culture. It's how do we like embed this culture of excellence, greatness? Like, we are all like, the bar's right here. And if you are part of Grit and Grind, you have to be here. Like, the standard is like above the bar. And it took a while to really have peace in who I am and making sure that it's all, like you said, for the greater good. Like, we didn't do all of this to the ball because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings, because we want to be nice. Like, you can be nice, but at the same time, we have to think about other people too. I had an employee who was kind of like slacking, and then I had a friend. She was actually my first hire, because she said, Des, if you ever open a coffee shop, I'll work. And so I was telling you how my husband and I were like, what are we going to do? So we closed at 11. At 12 o'clock, I called Andy and I said, remember how you said if I ever open a coffee shop, you work for me? Can you be at my house in 20 minutes? I need to teach you all of our recipes. She's like, I'm on the way. And so she worked with me for a while, and it was just, she was one of those friends that you absolutely need in your corner. That is just, she tells you the truth. She tells you how it is. And she was like, Des, like, us A players, like, we're pulling all this slack. and you're really probably going to lose somebody if you don't do something about this. And I was like, holy crap, because I've always been a solopreneur. I've always been a brand photographer. I did everything myself. I never relied on no one. Maybe a little hyper independency from childhood traumas in there, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Trust issues. But this was the first time I actually had to listen to other people and like take in their advice and realize like I'm not doing this alone. Like really, like I need other people to be able to build this thing to what it really needs to be. And so yeah, hiring, having employees, like that's a whole conversation in itself.
Yes.
But it is really important to be able to have that distinguish between what is good for the greater picture, and also other people. Just because it's right doesn't mean it always feels good,
Right.
So how do you connect with your customers? I know that since you started She Brews in 2021, you guys have relocated a few times, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so how do you connect? Do you still serve the community with coffee? Is it home base? Is it how's that?
So I went from home based in the house, and then we actually built the trailer while we were in California, but weren't able to operate it in California. So she traveled 36 hours from California to North Carolina. And thankfully it was transported part of the way, and then we drove it 12 hours the rest of the way here. So the thing is my husband and I built it, and so we joke that like if she makes it there, like it's meant to be. If she doesn't make it, we'll just call it like the biggest wash ever, you know? And so she makes it here, and a military spouse. And honestly, the military community is very small when you like think down to it. So we all end up at the same place. You know, we've done this for 11 years now. So we've run into people, we've come back, you know, back and forth, and word gets out very quickly in the military community. And so when I moved here, obviously I posted like, hey, moving there. And then it was just like my customers were like, so-and-so's in North Carolina, so-and-so, 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 you know, and it just trickled down the line. And so it literally warms my heart and like makes me cheese so hard when people come up and they're like, we've been following you. Like, we can't believe we're actually trying it now, you know, like so-and-so was, you know, in California and they told me they recommended you. And it's just like such a cool like community. But yeah, I operate out of the trailer now, just the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Usually that might change. It will change this summer, but it might change this next year. I'm really excited about that. But yeah, it's still a community, and it's like I feel like I know these people just because they've known me like through social media, and I just get so excited when people are like, we've been following you, like we've watched your journey like this whole time, and like now they're here to support me, and it's the coolest concept.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. And it's got to be hard to like, I don't know, to move and just feel like you've left something, but at the same time you're walking into something that kind of feels familiar. It's like a weird, you know?
It is. Yeah. So I started at the house, and then I ended up opening a kiosk in the hospital there. And so I did have like a storefront, you know, like a kiosk in the hospital. I guess you could kind of like label it as that. And so I built like a huge customer base there because, you know, all the people who worked in the hospital and then patients as well. And so when we built the trailer and moved here, my thinking was just like, we're military. We've moved literally every 3 years, like on the dot. Does it really make sense for me to open and close a shop like every 3 years? This is another thing where it goes like solopreneur. Like I could not put my trust in someone else. So I'll admit it to you because holy cow,
It's hard.
I don't know that I could do that. I'm like, I need quality control over here. And so I think for now in this like season of life, the trailer is like perfect.
Yeah. And it is really hard, but I'm telling you, there are people out there who will treat it just like your own. I never ever thought that was an option. I don't know if it's like an identity thing or, you know, if I was just a solopreneur for so long, like 18 years, and I was just wired that way. It took a lot of unwiring. And so we started in a mobile trailer. Our goal was to build a big, beautiful downtown shop in our town who didn't have a coffee shop. We built that. And then we let it go. That was the hardest thing I ever had to do. And I was just tethered to it because it was an identity. At that point, I was a coffee shop owner. And in order to build our brand and become a franchise and to help other owners succeed in their business, I had to let that go and become a leader. And it was really weird. I cried. Me and Eric argued because it was kind of like his idea, but he's like, Des, there's no way that we can grow if you're stuck in this identity. And so it is hard. It's hard to unwire. It's hard to make little habits like quit eating sugar or get up and go to the gym or
Yes.
quit leaving your laundry on the floor in the bathroom, Brayden.
Yeah.
And so like it's hard enough for those things. Could you imagine to like rewire your train of thought that you've had for literally probably your entire life? It's like anything, growth and comfort. I say this all the time. So you've got growth, you've got comfort. They can never coexist. Like they
Mhm.
can never be together. If you're going to grow, it's going to be uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
I love that because if I'm uncomfortable, it kind of reassures me. I'm like, we're growing, girl. We're good. Or if I'm like taking it easy, I'm kicked back in the recliner, I'm like, hold on. Where's the chaos? Something's weird. Let's go build something. Let's
That's so me. Oh my gosh.
we're broken at some point. I'm like, golly. But so if there is a fellow entrepreneur or someone thinking to get into the coffee industry or even mobile coffee, what is one key piece of advice that you would give them to just take that leap if they're on the fence?
I think I have two.
Okay.
So start small. Start small. Just start small. Just do it. And two, put your blinders on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because there's going to be so many outside distractions. There's going to be people who are like, can she really do that? Like, what is she really doing? There's also going to be people who have the same dream as you, and whether or not you both had the same idea at the same time, like they're going to be doing the same thing alongside you. And so just focusing like on what you're doing and just grind forward. So that those would be my two. Start small and put your blinders on.
I love that. I mean,
Yeah.
coffee is one of the top traded commodities of the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's a coffee shop everywhere. I always say they're like churches though. Like your vibe attracts your tribe. Like
Yes.
there's a town over where there's literally one coffee shop on one side of the road and there's another coffee shop on the other. Eric and I will go to both just to kind of analyze, get a vibe check, figure out how we feel when both are always
Mhm.
packed.
Yeah.
Two different people. One, you've got college kids with their headphones studying. Next one, you've got someone crocheting in the corner. Looks like they got cats to take care of.
Yeah.
But both are packed. There is more than enough customers for all of us. And not even that, like there's so many different types of people. We're all so different. Like your clientele is not my clientele. Like we
Right.
have our own people to serve. And I think the sooner that you realize that as an entrepreneur or business owner, you literally can put those blinders up and you really
Yeah.
just head down, focus on what it takes to grow your brand, your business, and really zone into your purpose in life.
Yeah. I always like give the reference of like the bread aisle. So like when you're going to Walmart or going to the grocery store anyway, like there's so many different like types of bread and like they're not going moldy. So obviously people are, consuming them. And so it's the same way. It's like, which one do you like? Like which one, tastes better? Which one has like the better bread? You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's the exact same thing. And it's definitely like a community thing. People are gonna like purchase from you and how'd you say? What word did you use? Your cult.
A cult.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
culture. Like people like purchase like from your culture. Like how are you making them feel? Like it's not just the product. Like how are you making them feel? Like what's conversation like? Like all of that plays into that.
Yeah, that's what's going to make them come back we just attach our feelings to memories so much. So I don't ever remember, like sometimes Eric's like, my husband, he's like, what did you get from that restaurant? I'm like, it wasn't very memorable. And so, but there's some that I'm like, oh my gosh, I got detailed, whatever I ate because it was the experience. It was the customer services, the ambiance when I walk in, like how it was catered.
Mhm.
Like it's those things that help everything just be more memorable. And so my advice that no one asked for would be to pay attention to those things. Like when you walk up to a mobile trailer or a cart, even like what does it feel like? Whatever your customers experience, like actually do that, because a lot of us just pull behind the back or whatever, or come in from the back. You don't walk up to see how the menu is displayed or the trash can or how are the windows clean. And so those little things do matter, and a lot of people I think overlook them. And I truly feel like that's what sets our brand apart is we pay
Mhm.
attention to those details, and our girls do too. And so,
Yeah.
but this is an amazing conversation. Like
I love that.
I feel like we can go on and on and on, but I know you've got tons of things to do and you've got babies to take care of and you've got coffee to go make. But I'm going to leave you. I want to ask one more question. What is
Okay.
your go-to coffee? When you get up in the morning, what is What is Cierra's coffee?
I'm a hyper fixator, so when I find
too.
something, I'm like stuck on it for a minute. Currently, it's our honeybee latte, so it's honey, vanilla, and cinnamon, and it is just the best combination together. So that is my go-to.
Simplicity is usually you can't overdo that. So
No,
I love
I
that.
love it.
All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in to the Grit Behind the Grind. Hopefully, again, you pulled some knowledge nuggets. You're going to want to replay this a few times, I know. But until next time, no grit, no pearl. Bye, guys.